Yo, what's up, yo? This is Killer Priest, and I'm representing right now for Kofi Universe. That universe is the universe you should be in.
What made you want to grab the Mobb Deep project? Like, and when it was the opportunity came, like, what was your thoughts on that?
What? You crazy? It's Mobb Deep. I mean, it's Mobb Deep. You know, which Mobb Deep is pure. Mobb Deep was original when it came out and it hit the scene. So what you represent set the example for what was to come later in rap music. So everybody took a page out of your book from what you were saying lyrically, what your messages was, being a voice of the streets in a way that nobody could do it, especially at the time. Your production is like the best production in the world. Like when you mentioned Dre, I see you in the lines of it coming up. Like you had to probably been listening to all the great producers from Bomb Squad and this one and that one to even have that type of ear.
YouTube salute. Nas and Havoc and Mobb Deep sat down. They did an interview on Sirius XM, so you can check out for the full interview. Should be up by today, but I seen a clip on IG that I wanted to share this with y'all and just talk about it about Nas having, you know, Mobb Deep supporting them with the this new album. Even though Prodigy's not here, may he rest in peace, rise in power. But let's talk about it. If you're new to my channel, thumbs up the video, hit that sub button, click that bell icon to be notified when I upload new content and go live. When it comes to, you know, duo groups in hip hop, you know, some people say Outkast is number one. You know, to me, Mobb Deep is probably Mobb Deep and Outkast are like neck to neck. They're like 1A, 1B. And I might even have Mobb Deep even over Outkast because Mobb Deep put out more projects as far as like more group albums, and Prodigy put out more solo albums than Andre 3000. And I have nothing against Street Stacks, but it's like, you know, you can't be who you say you can be, but you just stop doing it and you never put out a solo album. You got to put out solo albums too, man. You just can't do shit in your group albums and say, well, I'm the best. I know he's not saying that, but people love saying that. My thing is with this, um, I'm glad Nas put out this infinite album on Mass Appeal Records. I'm glad he was behind it. He pushed it as far as like, you know, getting on a couple of tracks, 3 tracks. You know, you had Love You Down, part 1 and 2, and Porter Henny. Porter Henny's one of my favorite tracks too. Um, you know, I'm just so thankful that we got an album of the year contender. You know, damn, it feels like Prodigy was just resurrected. I mean, if you think about the Queensbridge sound, yes, Nas to me is the best rapper from Queens. You know, hands down. You know, I know we got LL Cool J up there. We got other artists up there that you can throw in. 50 Cent. But Nas is like lyrically, ain't nobody messing with Nas. Prodigy is right next to Nas. Prodigy is right next to Nas, and I'm not gonna lie. Like Prodigy has held his own for a long time when he was living. Like people sample Prodigy so much as far as Mobb Deep and that grimy sound, you know, it's this gutter, it's that Queen sound. Havoc had that sound from 95, like working with outside of Mobb Deep. Nas, he did stuff on It Was Written. He did 2 tracks. Live Nigga Rap, and he did the setup. He worked with Foxy Brown. He worked with OGC. You know, Havoc worked with who? And he worked with a lot of people. He worked with a lot of people. Some people I just can't think off top. But Havoc was working with a lot of artists. He's working with a lot of artists, whatever. And you know, I'm just talking about in the 90s. I know he did more stuff outside the 90s. Don't get me wrong. But Mobb Deep has an umbrella. If you think about it, G Unit is part of that umbrella. People are like, what you talking about? Because a lot of people don't realize 50 Cent looked up to Mobb Deep. He looked up to Mobb Deep, and that's why he wanted to sign them because he knew that sound, that hardcore street shit. And everybody in the world loved Mobb Deep as far as that street shit. And they didn't have to sell out. They can beat him. You know, that real stick-up kid music. I mean, think about it. Like if you went to concerts and you heard like a Shook Ones Part 2 or Survival of the Fittest or Give Up the Goods or Hell on Earth or G.O.D. Part 3 came on or The Quiet Storm or the remix in the club. Oh, when I was like, what, 18 years old? And I was in the military, 18, 19 years old, and they played Quiet Storm in the club, man, people lost their minds. So Mobb Deep, you know, their presence, not just in America, we talking about Germany, we talking about the UK, various countries in Africa, the Caribbean, South America. Mobb Deep have a presence, homie, and man, it's just like nobody understand that. I mean, Pitchfork even said Mobb Deep, the Infamous is the #1 rap album ever. I don't know about that because it's a lot of albums we can debate, but it's up there. It is in my top 10 by far. You know, I mean, some people even have Hell on Earth over the Infamous, and I know why, because Prodigy lyrically was on a whole nother level. Like Prodigy Prodigy 95 was dropping classic lines that people actually sampled in their you know, in their songs, whatever. But 96 Prodigy from Hell on Earth all the way to 2001. That Prodigy right there. I'm not saying he still wasn't dropping dope lyrics or nothing. Don't get me wrong. But Prodigy was in his bag, like lyrical bag. That lyrical prowess, oh man, Prodigy was bringing heat. Like, I don't think nobody can really F with Prodigy at that time. The only person I knew that took over that mantle when Prodigy kind of like wasn't giving us the real, you know, them thumps, them lyrical thumps, Jadakiss took that. Jadakiss took that. And Jadakiss was already coming for it anyway, though. Don't get me wrong. But Jadakiss was taking it already because you heard him on We Are the Streets, the second studio album from the Locks, and he was on all the mixtapes, the Locks mixtapes, and everybody's like featured the Maya Best of Me, R. Kelly, you know, Fiesta remixing or the regular version, whatever. He's on all these songs, and then he drops to Kiss the Game Goodbye. So Jadakiss was already coming to take that, but Prodigy was a monster. Nobody wasn't messing with Prodigy. And Havoc, man, people underestimate Havoc because Havoc can spit too. Havoc can spit his ass off too. He's not just a producer. He can go bar for bar. And sometimes I've seen Havoc have some like a better verse than Prodigy. Like, yeah, not, you know that, and like not to say Prodigy had a mediocre verse, but Havoc brought it. Like, especially both of them are great at storytelling. Like if you think of Trife Life, More Trife Life, Temperatures Rising, From a Cradle to the Grave, stuff like that. They can really spit, man, on storytelling. So Mobb Deep, man, like Nas, just getting behind this project. I'm so happy that he supported, you know, the Prodigy's family, the Prodigy's estates, the Alchemist. That's another person right there. We got to give props to the Alchemist, man, because just, you know, him being introduced to the infamous Mob, and they brought him to Mobb Deep, and he jumped on a few tracks on Murder Music, and then from there he was just working with them on, you know, his solo project, his album that came out 2001, 2002, something like that. And he worked on HNIC. He worked on, you know, The Infamy, America's Nightmare. He's worked on a lot of stuff with them. So I'm just so happy to see this album get pushed. And there's some other stuff Mobb Deep has also coming out in the next year or two. Prodigy has a couple of solo albums, 2 more solo albums coming out, just to let everybody know. Post your comments below. Folks, smash Black Panther the like button, subscribe to my channel. Click the bell icon to be notified when I upload new content and go live.